Folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Another busy day in the news, another lot of stuff going on. It always seems like that, come Monday, there's just this backlog maybe of stuff from the weekend. Maybe it's because I tend to kind of take it a little easy on the weekends. Of course, I don't produce content on Saturday because that's my day of rest. And then Sunday, sometimes I do, and sometimes I'm busy doing community stuff. A lot of times we do things here in our local community on Sunday, so maybe that's the reason, but sometimes it just seems like a typical Monday when it comes to all the things coming out. It's just a Monday. And that's what we have today. We have a lot of stuff going everywhere from digital dollars that they're trying to force down our throats to the collapsing U.S. dollar, or at least its loss of prominence, because that's every bit, if not more important, than its actual value, on market trading and all that kind of stuff. It's prominence in the world, because when it loses that, then what is there left to it? And then, of course, they can just force us to, with the digital dollars thing, because, well, the dollar's worthless now because the rest of the world doesn't use it. So, anyways, then we've got this UN Agenda 2030, Great Reset, zero carbon, net zero emissions junk that we're going to talk about for just a second, and the rail worker stuff, and then, of course, what everyone's talking about in the last probably 48 hours or so is the tractor supply, and I'll touch a little bit on that. I'm not going to go deep into that, but we'll touch a little bit onto that because, I don't know, we might as well. Like Mama used to say, if they were all jumping off a cliff, would you do it too? Well, maybe. Before I get started, I want to mention, and this is not any kind of advertisement for me. I get no money out of it. This is a friend that I want to promote here on YouTube. Let me share the screen. Oh, my face is right in the way. I didn't think of that. Let me see. Can I move this? No. Well, you can see up here in the corner, it's Hearth and Home Nostalgia. This is a friend of ours channel, and this is not political, this is not prepping, this isn't anything like that. This is just wholesome stuff. It's that time of the year. We tend to spend more time with family, whether you do holidays or not, or it's just because it's winter and you're more spending more time inside. Maybe kids coming home from college or whatever. We spend more time inside, and so let's find something positive. And this is a cool channel. I wish my face wasn't right there. I didn't plan that very well, but you get the idea. They do neat little things. It's focused primarily on the 40s and 50s content. So 1940s, 1950s. And so they'll do little historical things about, a particular actor or, a certain thing that was popular back then. You can sit with your grandkids or your kids and show them how nerdy you were. Here's one of their videos I'll show for just a second. This is the true story of the hula hoop. I haven't watched it all the way. I'm sure I'd learned something. I never was very good at hula hoop.
Rediscover America's funnest toy. The hula hoop is a toy hoop that is twirled around the waist, limbs, or neck. I don't think I've ever done it around the neck. Have you done it around the neck? I feel like I'd be going to the chiropractor. I'd be like, look at me, I'm cool. And then I'd be like,
It's a cute, fun little channel. And you and your kids can learn about stuff back in the 40s and 50s and just that kind of stuff. And they're really cool people. So anyways, I wanted to promote them for a minute. It's a small channel, but just wanted to let you know about them. Again, it's Hearth and Home Nostalgia, and this is what it's going to look like. And you can go over there and subscribe and watch some of their stuff. She also does, she colorizes videos and pictures and stuff from back in the old days, and cleans them up and everything, and she does a really good job. It's pretty cool stuff. Anyways, let's get on to the depressing stuff, right? No, let's not be depressed. Let's just be knowledgeable, because knowledge is power. This is some of the CBDC stuff. So cross-border demands banks get ready for Clearing 2.0. I'm no genius in this stuff, But basically what this is talking about is these clearinghouses that, and this is their excuse of doing this digital stuff, is so that banks can communicate and transfer between each other. But of course we know there's more to it than that. And so this is talking about, the clearinghouse was a THC, EBA clearing, SWIFT, that's this stuff down here if you're reading it. And this is how they transfer money back and forth. SWIFT, you probably remember that when we did the sanctions on Russia, it was talked about. So what this article here is saying, get ready because the 2.0 is coming. It's coming soon. And it's talking about the digital stuff, okay? He says here that there's 25 banks and is accelerating. They're doing a pilot. There it is. There's a pilot with 25 banks. So this is moving forward, folks. It's moving forward very fast. And you need to be, I'm telling you, self-sufficient communities, that kind of stuff, because there's going to be a lot of things once this gets fully implemented that it's going to be difficult for you to just survive. The world doesn't have to end. It doesn't have to be, some kind of Mad Max Book of Eli, after Fallout kind of thing for you to not be able to survive. The world could just look as normal as can be and everything be plentiful, but you don't have access to it anymore. That's the thing. You don't have access. Go pull out your Bible and read in it, because it talks about it in the end, where you cannot buy food or anything without it. And that's what this is leading to. Maybe I'm crazy. It's fine to call me that. You wouldn't be the first, but that's where it's leading. On with yes, I know. They tell me that I have to pay him money so that I can take this off, and I'm not doing it. But we get enough out of it. Bloomberg is talking about Ghana again. Remember, we were talking about them the other day. They are in talks with Dubai so that they can barter gold for fuel. You see, they're not purchasing it. Do you see that? They're not buying it. They're bartering it. That's the term that's used. That's why using gold and silver is so important. Bartering it. So they are in communication with Dubai. So they're right there. There's more of the U.S. dollar weakening. Because it's one country. I know it's just one, but it's not the only one. It's just another country. And here we've got Dubai accepting it, which means that they don't have any fear of well, fine, we'll just accept whatever currency and commodity that we're okay with. So the U.S. dollar is more losing its prominence, folks. Here's more. The RBI, which is the Central Bank of India, and the UAE Central Bank discuss mechanisms to trade in local currencies. Again, this is the same thing as that last one. This is India and the UAE talking about using their own local currencies, i.e. not U.S. dollars, and mostly it's going to be gold, oil. That's, it could be, oil from the UAE and other things to the UAE, that kind of thing. But, the UAE, mostly the only thing they have is oil. And so that's what this is talking about. Again, the U.S. dollar, how many of you, especially you folks my age and older, that understand this and that has experienced things in the past where we have basically gone to war or assassinated people, maybe not openly, but we know the truth, because their country was trying to go off the U.S. dollar. Some of you remember those things? I mean, there's a lot of people that believe that the whole initial thing with Saddam Hussein in Iraq was because he was trying to get off of the U.S. dollar. And then we ended up going to war with him like a couple of times. And here we've got countries just dropping like flies. They're just saying, fine, we're done with the U.S. dollar. It shows that the prominence is weakening, folks. Moving on to, eat debugs, World Economic Forum stuff. This is the Washington Post. Well, this article isn't from the Washington Post, but it's talking about the Washington Post is telling people you need to eat the bugs, okay? Like Klaus Schwab says, eat the bugs. This is becoming a bigger and bigger thing. Here's the Washington Post. Salted ants, ground crickets, why you should eat edible insects. And it's because you're also poor because of all the stuff that they've done, or that the government, or that the big businesses and everything, they've all done this stuff, and now you're poor, and inflation, you can't afford anything, so guess what? Eat bugs. Eat bugs. More of it, folks. Along with this one here, along with all that, and this fits right with the Agenda 2030 garbage, the Netherlands to close up 3,000 farms. 3,000 farms to comply with EU rules. I mentioned this quite a while back, and I don't remember the exact figures, but the Netherlands is a massive agricultural producer on this planet, not just in Europe, on this planet. They are a major, major player. That's pretty much the only thing they do is farming. And 3,000 farms, and if you read through the article, it's compulsory, meaning that they're forcing them. It's not like, hey, we'll buy your farm, and the farmer's like, yeah, I've been wanting to get. They're being forced to. It's eminent domain is what it is. Or they call it something different in the Netherlands, but that's what this is, folks. 3,000 farms. This is not going away anytime too soon. I'm not saying it can't be overcome, but just because you hear about some little thing in the news that seems like a little bit of a victory, whether it's Elon Musk or Donald Trump or some whoever that got elected, and transferred the power in Congress or whatever, the world is still moving forward on this. The world is still, and this is going to affect us. This will affect us. It'll affect us either in food that we're not getting from there that we might get, or the fact that if that food is drying up, then that's going to be a drain on the entire rest of the global food system. It's not going away. And this is why we have to continue on our preparedness and self-sufficient journeys. On to the rail stuff. Next week, folks. Strike is scheduled to happen next week. Okay? And this is a big deal. Now, all the news is talking about how there's like 300 or 400 companies that are lobbying Congress to jump in and get on this. I think apparently I saw this afternoon that Joe Biden himself has reached out to Congress and say, hey, you need to step in and take care of this. Are they going to take care of it before it happens or not? Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. I still kind of think that there's a little bit more to this, and they may allow it to happen for at least a little while to shake us up, because look at this. CNN says that the rail strike estimates $1 billion in the first week. $1 billion lost into the economy in the first week is what CNN is saying. This is epic. Remember the other day when I said, even if the rail strike only lasts a few days, they allow it to happen, Congress does, and then they jump in and they become the savior, and they put it to a stop a few days later. $1 billion lost in 1 week. That's huge. Not just that, but the backlog. You can't just restart that system like that after it's been down for a week. It's gonna cause a lot of havoc, and it's very likely at this point that it's going to happen. I know there's still a lot of people that are saying it's not. I don't know. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it's becoming much, much more likely every day that ticks by. And we've got to get prepared for this, because if this happens, it could be very devastating. Moving on to the last thing, the thing that you've all been waiting for, and that's the tractor supply stuff. So, I'm not going to go into great detail in this. There's a video put out by Doug and Stacy, and then you guys all know who they are. And then another one, I guess, that originally came from Ted Nugent. I don't know. I've not watched him. I don't watch him. I don't know. There has been a video today released by Alaska Prepper, and I encourage you to go watch his video because he did a really good job. I had already been doing a little digging around because I had people asking me, and then he puts out a video, and he was it was really good. So apparently the accusations is that Tractor Supply has funded or supported a drag queen, some kind of cross-dressing show or whatever in Waco. And I don't know if that's true or not. I can't find any absolute conclusive proof of that, just some circumstantial stuff. But the point is that it's not too surprising, because when you get into Tractor Supply, and there's so many people there, Tractor Supply is one of those places is like Target. People just love it. People love Tractor Supply. I've been into one a couple of times. We don't have any directly around us, but they're pretty cool. And so people are becoming really defensive. They don't want you talking anything bad about their Tractor Supply, because it's, this wholesome family kind of thing. But you look into it, and I'm going to get to a point, so just bear with me. It's not what you think. This is on their corporate page. See up here, it says ESG. Yeah, so ESG, you've got ESG goals. You know what that is, the environmental social governance. That's the whole UN thing. It is opening the door to the social credit scores. It's the same thing pretty much as social credit scores, but it's for businesses, okay? So they give the businesses a rating, and then if they have a really poor rating, they can't get loans, or they get really poor quality loans or high interest rates or something like that. And then you've got diversity, inclusion. It's just a wonderful thing. Look at this. Let's go to the ESG goals and click on this. And of course they word it in such a way that it sounds so wonderful. But look at this. Tractor Supply's goals to reduce carbon footprint and achieve a net zero carbon emissions net zero emissions across all operations by 2040 and reduce our water usage by 2025. All these, great little cliche-ic things that they say. Here we go. 2030. Oh, looky there. They're right in line with it. They're such good people. They're doing such a good job of keeping it in line with the United Nations and the World Economic Forum. They've got water conservation goals and continuing, here's the diversity. We'll get into that here in a second. Continuing ESG partnerships, renewable energies. They're all about this kind of stuff. Let's go up here. Here's their diversity and inclusion page. And if you don't know what you're reading, they make it sound good, and you're probably going like, oh, that's fine. Here's the CEO again, how they talking about foster, culture of different perspectives and ideas and innovative thinking. And, oh, it's so great, their commitment, their culture. And you keep going down here. And, there we go. LGBTQ+, you belong out here. This is the group, their resource groups. These are groups that they help and work with. Go down here to their workplace achievements. Best ESG companies. The best employers for diversity. Gender equality index. Oh, they've got human rights campaign. I mean, this sounds like a totally conservative company to me, folks. Woo! Totally conservative company. But here's the thing. It's not just them. This is everywhere, okay? This is everywhere. This is why it's so critical to, number one, do your homework wherever you shop. And as much as possible, you should probably vote with your dollars. I understand it's going to get difficult because so many of them are doing it. That's why I encourage you to support local small businesses, because they're less likely, at least right now, to get involved in this kind of junk. But it is happening. They're pushing it on everyone. And I know there's been some people, I've had some people today, tell me, are you willing to cut off your nose to spite your face? No, I'm sick and tired of compromise, folks. That's why we're here today. That's why we are in this place in this country, is because we've compromised ourselves into a corner. Okay? We've compromised ourselves into a corner, and we've allowed them to move a little bit closer and a little bit further and a little bit further, and we give in and we give in. That's why so many churches today are just social gathering clubs, and there's nothing there to them. That's why, so many of these companies are bowing down and giving in because we've compromised and we've like, well, maybe we should, give him a chance, and maybe we should talk to them. I'll send my letter in, and well, they do some good things too. They do give money to like good charities, and this is why we are in the place that we're in, because no one said, this is the line, and I'm not going to cross that line. And I don't care what it takes. I'm not crossing that line. Because this is bigger than going and buying chicken feed and barbed wire, okay? This is about your family. This is about your children. This is about your values. This is about truth, okay? This is about godliness. Because these companies are supporting the things that are absolutely contrary to those, and they fight against them. Do you think having some drag queen show for children is supporting, righteousness and godliness and family values? Of course not. And maybe this company hates doing that. Maybe they're like, oh, I got to hold my nose and give money to this group. But if it helps with my ESG score, well, you compromised. You compromised the children. You compromised your values. And I don't care how much it hurts me. I'm not going to shop there. I'm not going to do it. And as I find more and more places, I won't do it. This is why we have to create our own economies, our own systems, and find companies that don't do this and support them. Because this is bigger than, well, they don't do something I like. And this is about the very foundation of who we are, of what we believe, of what is right and wrong. And there is a battle way bigger than Tractor Supply, way bigger than even a drag queen show. It's way bigger than all that. It is a fight for our very souls. It's a fight for what is truly right and wrong. It is darkness and light battling itself out, and it's becoming so much clearer now. It's always been going on, but it's coming to a culmination, folks. And that's why we're seeing it so clearly right in front of our eyes. And we have to choose sides. You can't be, the Bible's very clearly, you can't be on either side. You can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, okay? There's no shades of gray here, folks. It's either black or it's white. And so that's why this is wrong. I can't prove that the drag queen story with Tractor Supply is 100% true, but I can look on their own website and I can see what they support. And I can tell you that I'm not supporting them. And thankfully, there's a little tiny local feed store. I can buy my feed from them. Do they have everything that Tractor Supply has? No. And do I sometimes spend money at places that support this stuff? Probably. But when I find out and when I'm able to determine, then I cut that off. I cut them off. And if it means that I have to go to just making my own clothes and making my own moccasins and for shoes or, growing my own food, well, that's what we're talking about all the time on here, folks. So it's time to choose. It's time to choose. And, it's either good or evil. It's either light or darkness. It's either righteousness or wickedness. Because you cannot compromise on these things anymore. There is no compromise. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order. It's time to prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Because the battle is upon us. This isn't something that's going to happen eventually. It's here. And it's here in every different aspect. Maybe not the kinetic, conventional war of physical battle just yet. It is in some places. But there is a battle going on right before your eyes. And it's time to either get involved, sit on the sidelines, or shut up, I guess. I don't know what else to tell you. Folks, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.